48 hours. That is all the time we have before the digital pulse of our modern civilization begins to flatline and eventually disappear forever. As news of the neon supply collapse spreads, global markets descend into a chaotic freefall, triggering an unprecedented era of economic and technological panic globally. Imagine the silent death of a superpower. You cannot recall carrier strike groups heading for the Taiwan Strait once the gears of industry have stopped turning. The strategic nodes of our world, from Hsinchu to Veldhoven, are fading into darkness as the lifeblood of the semiconductor industry is abruptly severed by conflict. Two massive carrier strike groups are now steaming toward the Pacific. Their mission clear: protect the remaining stockpiles of the world's most valuable silicon chips. When billion-dollar ASML machines become nothing more than high-tech scrap metal due to a lack of raw materials, the very map of geopolitics is rewritten. Borders are no longer drawn with ink and paper. They are now defined by the extreme ultraviolet wavelengths that power our most advanced artificial intelligence systems. The headlines scream of a world on the brink. Production has halted at the world's most advanced foundries, and the military has moved to secure ASML. Security is no longer about checking badges at the gate. It is now about preventing the total collapse of the digital infrastructure that holds society together. Every container of gas and every crate of specialized lenses is now a strategic asset worth more than its weight in gold in this desperate struggle. We are witnessing the death of the global digital dream. Without these chips, the brains of our smart world are simply empty shells of useless silicon. The clock is ticking down. With every passing hour, the probability of a full-scale kinetic conflict over these technological resources increases exponentially toward a breaking point. Military planners are calculating the cost of failure. If the supply chains are not restored immediately, the world's tech giants will face an absolute permanent blackout. This is the reality of 2025. A rare gas once ignored by the public has now become the single most important chemical element on the planet Earth. The trigger has been pulled. In the next 48 hours, the fate of the semiconductor world will be decided by fire, steel, and extreme ultraviolet light. Welcome to the heart of the machine. ASML's EUV lithography systems are the most complex devices ever built by human hands in our entire history. This isn't just engineering, it is modern magic. Using light with a wavelength so small it can carve paths on silicon only a few nanometers wide. With over 100,000 parts and miles of specialized cabling, these machines are the holy grail of the 21st century's technological global dominance. If oil was the blood of the 20th century, then extreme ultraviolet light is the very soul and life force of the 21st century economy. The precision required is staggering. To print a 2-nanometer chip is like trying to shoot an arrow from Earth and hitting a target on the moon. ASML does not just sell machines. They sell the power to dominate the future of artificial intelligence and every strategic system that relies upon it. Without the ultra-precise lenses from Germany, these machines are blind. The entire global supply chain hinges on a handful of specialized European companies. Whoever controls these machines controls the future. They are the gatekeepers of progress, deciding which nation will lead the next industrial and digital revolution. In this small Dutch town, the fate of the global economy is decided every single day. Veldhoven is now the most important city in the world. This process is the foundation of everything from your smartphone to the advanced neural networks that drive the world's most powerful military AI systems. We have reached the physical limits of silicon. Moving beyond this point requires machines that only one company on this entire planet can actually build. Each machine costs hundreds of millions of dollars, yet they are priceless in the context of the current global geopolitical and technological arms race. To lose access to ASML is to be cast back into the technological dark ages. There is no second place in the race for EUV. The manufacturing process is so delicate that even a single speck of dust can destroy a multi-million-dollar wafer in a heartbeat of time. This is the New World Order, a tiny handful of locations holding the keys to the digital kingdom, each protected by the most advanced weapons ever made. It is a bitter paradox. The world's most advanced computers depend on the exhaust gases from old crumbling steel mills located in the heart of Eurasia. Neon, a byproduct of steel production, is the invisible hero of the chip world. Without it, the lasers in deep ultraviolet lithography simply cannot function. When the guns began to fire in Ukraine, the flow of neon stopped. Half of the world's high-purity neon supply evaporated almost overnight during the war. As stockpiles dwindle, the semiconductor giants in Taiwan and South Korea are finding themselves increasingly isolated on the edge of a supply chain abyss. The geography of the chip war is unforgiving. These vital supply routes are now the most dangerous waters on the planet for global trade vessels. Silent shadows move beneath the waves. The protection of these industrial hubs has become a matter of national survival for every major global power. This is no longer a trade dispute, it is a fight for the survival of hardware. The era of easy globalization has officially come to an end. Prices have become irrelevant. When there is no neon left, no amount of money can restart the machines that build our modern digital world. The silence in these factories is deafening. It represents billions of dollars in lost revenue in a future that is slowly slipping away from us. A blockade is no longer just about food or fuel. It is about strangling the flow of intelligence and the hardware that makes it possible. National interests are taking precedence over the global market. Every drop of high-purity gas is being hoarded like a precious, strategic military reserve. The fragility of our high-tech world is exposed. We built our silicon towers on foundations of old-world industrial processes that we foolishly chose to ignore. A single disruption in a remote corner of the world can now bring the most advanced economy on Earth to its knees within weeks. The dream of a unified global supply chain is shattering. We are entering a new age of tech nationalism where every nation must fend for itself. As the sun sets on the era of abundance, the world prepares for a long, cold winter of technological scarcity and growing military tension. When diplomacy fails, the steel takes over. In the world's most strategic straits, control over the silicon flow is now enforced by lethal firepower. A technology embargo today carries the same weight as a nuclear warhead. It is a declaration of total war in the digital and physical domains. Every shipment of EUV machines is now a high-stakes military operation. These machines are the crown jewels of a nation's sovereign technological power. Special units are now tasked with protecting data centers and fabrication plants. The line between corporate security and national defense has completely vanished. And this is the ultimate clash of eras, the supreme sophistication of subatomic engineering versus the brutal, raw force of conventional military hardware. The scorched earth policy of the chip war. If a factory cannot be held, it must be destroyed to prevent the technology from falling. Cyber warfare has become the first strike. Before the first shot is fired, the enemy's fabrication lines are turned into useless, frozen metal monuments. At the strategic choke points of the world, the right to progress is being fought over with missiles and torpedoes in a desperate struggle. Would we destroy the finest achievements of human ingenuity just to deny them to a rival? In 2025, the answer is a terrifying yes. In this race, coming in second place means more than just a loss of profit. It means total digital and economic extinction for a nation. The consequences of this conflict will be felt in every home. Without these chips, the modern world simply ceases to function as we know it. And the heights of human achievement are being trampled by the oldest instincts of territorial expansion and the desperate need for total resource control. The campuses of Silicon Valley and Hsinchu are being transformed into armed camps, where the engineers work under the watchful eyes of the military. The friction between global giants has reached a flashpoint. There is no longer any room for compromise when the future of AI is at stake. Is this the legacy we choose? To turn our greatest tools for liberation into the very catalyst for our own destruction and global technological ruin? The factories have become fortresses. Every square inch of the clean room is now under constant surveillance by autonomous weapon systems and elite military guards. Cutting the flow of information is as effective as a physical blockade. The world is being divided into isolated digital islands, disconnected and deeply suspicious. Science is no longer a collaborative global effort. It has been conscripted into the service of national security and the machinery of modern total war. The price of conflict is absolute. When the silicon fabs burn, the collective intelligence of the human race takes a massive, irreversible step backward into history. We have built a world on enchanted grains of sand, carved by light. But that light has now become a double-edged sword for all humanity. When the hardware fails, we are forced to ask, will artificial intelligence truly liberate us, or will our thirst for it drive us back to ruins? You cannot return the innocence of the global era. We have crossed a threshold where the material of our progress is now more precious than blood. A new world order is emerging from the ashes, a map drawn not by old borders, but by the resilience of our technological and diplomatic systems. The future is still within our grasp, but it requires a new kind of wisdom, one that values cooperation over the hoarding of silicon and power. The legacy of silicon will either be the dawn of a new enlightenment or the final sunset of our short-lived high-technology civilization on Earth. The choice is ours. Will we use the power of the machine to heal our world, or will we let it become the ultimate weapon of division? In this new world, silicon is more than just a material. It is the medium through which we will either save ourselves or lose our way. The next generation will inherit the world we build today. Let us ensure it is a world defined by the light of knowledge, not conflict. Welcome to the age of the chip war. Welcome to the era where the smallest things we build define the largest parts of our destiny. This is the final frontier. In the battle for the mind of the machine, the ultimate prize is the survival of our very humanity itself.